And one thing I am passionate is leading by example. I'm a property investor myself, and I'm investing now, which is so important because it's always changing, this climate. So it just gives me some real interesting insights. I've got an update for you about the land tax. It's so funny. I love this journey. Just when you think you know everything, it's impossible for you guys who don't work in the industry to know what I know. Because even with what I know, it keeps changing. It's insanity. And so we've got to keep up with all these moving goalposts and stuff. So, but what I am going to share with you is something that's rock solid, that never changes, and that is a 7-step blueprint to building lasting wealth. Quick disclaimer, I'm not really going to give much advice. I'm going to give you structure in how to approach property investing. And this is my bugbears, okay? People ask me about location. Maria, what's the next hot location? And I really got cranky with someone when she said it. And I said, why are you always asking me that? That's not the question, I said to her. I was so angry. It's irrelevant. If the best location right now to invest is the Gold Coast, and it's a bloody good one, and you can only afford $500,000, ba-bah, you missed out. It's irrelevant. So that is not the question. I'm going to focus instead on what you should be thinking about. So before we get to the blueprint, things to think about are property is just a vehicle, okay? It's not the destination. It's not the location. It's not the destination. It is a means to an end. It's going to help you achieve your financial objectives, which means you look at the numbers. It's a business decision, not an emotional one. So keep that in mind through all of this. The 7-step process, it starts with your purpose, your buying power. Then we've got building your team, the strategy, the structure you should purchase a property in, and the market research that will then lead to, property selection and location. Okay, that's lucky number 7. So you've got to know your why. Why are you investing? What is the purpose? What do you want that property investment to achieve for you? Because the type of property will facilitate that goal, and not all properties fit and tick off the same box. Do you want to get into the market? Maybe you want to reduce the debt in your mortgage. Perhaps you want to build a nest egg in retirement or leave a legacy for your children. They're the questions to be asking. What do I want my property to do? And then you've got to think about this why and go even deeper. It has to be so strong that nothing will sway you. I've just said to you, it's an ever-changing environment. You will get obstacles like you will not believe. Just when you think smooth sailing, something comes up. Like council has just changed all the rules for their easements and environmental considerations, and you've got to go back to square one and do a whole new layout and floor plan. Okay, things like that can happen. So you've got to be convinced this is the right thing, it's going to work, it's the right thing for me at all costs, because then when you're certain, you have conviction. When you have conviction, you have confidence, and nothing will sway that, because life is not simple, and all the things worthwhile aren't easy, and they don't come easily. So you've got to be prepared for that mentally. My why, I used to think was my family, and they are. Everything I'm doing, and I was talking to other people in the room, it's about making it easier for our kids to get into the market. So that's why a lot of my investments centre around that. Some of it's for retirement. But my bigger why is something that Simon Sinek pointed out. It's something that is within me from when I was young. And that's what our why is within all of us, something from when we were young. My why has always been about pleasing people, making them happy and joyful. I love it. And so if I can help them achieve financial freedom, lessen their financial burdens, and help them achieve their goals, that brings me great joy. And in everything I do, on stage, off stage, at work, that's what it's about. And so it's equally rewarding to me. Buying power is so important. I've already illustrated that to you. So location is irrelevant if you can't afford the area. You've got to check out your financial position, and we've got amazing brokers in the room that I recommend you talk to, who really are good at what they do and know how to not just get you the best deal. It's not about the best interest rate or the lowest rate. It's about the best deal that's going to help you acquire your property. So you've got to know your numbers. Do you have equity in your home? Do you have savings you can call upon? And then you've got to look at what your earning capacity is for serviceability. The two factors there need to come together to give you a magic purchase price. And that will give you clarity. When you know your numbers, you now know what you're working with to purchase a property. Next step is building your team. And when it comes to building a team, success is very very much a team sport. I am a property strategist that's networked up to here. I have put brokers, accountants, financial planners, conveyancers to the test. So I don't just have a team. I have a team of people that are proven, that are tested, tried and true, that I can recommend you that will help you get your deal. And one broker won't necessarily work the same way for another person as it will for one. So it's about the right broker for the right situation. I effectively work as the glue to connect the broker, an accountant who needs to be property savvy. Do not go to an accountant that only does your taxes. No, they need to be relationship focused. They need to be focused on you building wealth. And if they don't help you build wealth, shaft them, okay? Because you don't need them. I'm dead serious and passionate about that. Solicitors and conveyancers. I was in a real estate course and one of the real estate agents says conveyancers are all a hopeless bunch of ning-nongs. And my response was, who on earth are you working with? Because I know some really good conveyancers who get the deal done, who put the client first. That came from a real estate agent, okay? And that's Richie says. So, no, when it comes to conveyancers, when you've got a good one, and I do, and I hang on to them, and I'll give you an example of how powerful they were in helping my client acquire a property. And then you need a good property manager who's going to work for you and not the tenant. Example, I said to my client, here are 2 property managers you can look at. He went to his own. This property manager secured a tenant for 2 years before the lease would change. I said to him, why don't you check with me first? Never lock in 2 years, only 1 year. Why? Because then you can up it considerably, the rent, for the next year. Rents have been going up between $50 to $100 a week with a lot of my clients' properties. But if you've locked in for 2 years, you've missed out on that opportunity. Not all property managers are the same. And as the strategist, I really do, I'm the conduit connecting everyone to ensure you successfully acquire a property. Your team is invaluable. It's really important. Then comes the investment strategy. I'm just going to click through these quickly. I only have 10 minutes. So one thing I'll talk about is there's either cash flow or capital growth. Most people want both. Capital growth gives you more equity, which enables you to buy another property. So if you're looking to reduce your mortgage debt, you want to get something with good capital growth, but you do not want it negatively geared unless you want the tax benefits. If you're earning a lot of money, and I'm talking 200-300K plus per annum, you might want to negatively gear. Otherwise, you need something that either pays for itself or is positively geared. We have fractional investing for first-time investors who do not have much equity. They can get in on a property for $70,000, make positive cash flow and growth on their share of that property. People who can't afford $1 million properties can actually have the power of benefiting from investing partially in one. And that's what Friends with Benefits is. You can buy half a duplex. Duplexes are a great way to make quick equity growth and good returns of 5% or more. So if you can't afford a full one and you can get half, why wouldn't you? So these are the different investment strategies, and it has to be centred around what you want to achieve. Are you looking to retire? Do you want to build your nest egg in retirement? Then you want to talk to Cody about setting up your SMSF loan, and then you'll talk to me about an NDIS dual key strategy that will feed you hundreds of thousands of dollars in passive income by the time you retire. And that doesn't include the actual asset value. So it really does have to be about the right strategy for your goals, and that's where we come in. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. And then it comes to the purchase structure. So before you buy, do you need to set it up in a trust, or do you want to buy it in your own name? So some people who don't have as high an income might choose to do it in their own name, and it's beneficial. But if you're earning plenty of money, you might want to instead do a discretionary trust, which gives you a 30% tax rate, and then you can distribute your funds amongst, lesser income earners, which means you can minimise your tax in that way. You might do a unit trust. You can't afford to go all in on a property. You might do it with your sister, your cousin, a brother, whatever it is, but then you can split it percentage-wise and still get the benefit of capital growth and what have you. I'm going to keep going a little bit. I'll keep an eye on the time. We have a bit of time. SMSF, well, you need a bare trust sometimes, or you just might want to buy an SMSF and do a fractional investment. It really does depend on your situation. And this is where it's good to get advice from a good accountant or even your solicitor, and we can guide you as well in the right direction. Then we do the market research. We look at the key factors. For me, it's about population growth. If you have got population growth, that means the government's spending money there, they're fixing roads, putting in infrastructure, adding public transport systems, building larger hospitals, adding schools, universities. As soon as you see a council injecting money into the area, you know growth is coming. So that's one of the factors we look at. In-demand properties. Some places prefer one type of property over another. So if you think, oh, it's got to be a 4-bedroom house, no. Some people like the idea of a 3-bedder. It's more affordable. So it's understanding what will work. Some people talk about co-living. Don't do it if you don't know there are tenants that can share that are going to look after your property. So there are different factors at play here. If you're going to do your own research, go to trusted sources like property researchers, CanStar, CoreLogic. Look at those areas, not mainstream media. If they're talking about it, the horse is bolted, you're too late. And then metrics, one of the things we look at, what's the rent going to be? Can you afford to hold the property? Are interest rates going to go up and all of a sudden, oh, I can't afford this anymore, and you've just sold your property before you even had growth and it's cost you 100 grand instead of made you that much money. Vacancy rates are a really good indicator of demand in any area. Our vacancy rates are the lowest they've ever been in the country. There is a housing crisis. So people waiting for interest rates to drop, why? We have a housing crisis. You build it, they will come, to the tune of 50 applicants per property. So there is real demand in a lot of locations. Anything under 1%, they're screaming for homes to be built. And that's an example of the property clock you can look at through Heron Todd White that shows you growth areas and where it positions. Anything on the left-hand side, that's where you want to be for growth. That's the time to invest in those areas. Quick examples. I know I've gone over. I don't know where the time went. This is a client of mine, Eve and Simon. Okay, Eve rings me 4:45 p.m. on a Friday. Yeah, 15 minutes before shutdown. Well, not for me. And I'm like, oh my God. She goes to me, Maria, I've got $465,000 to invest in a property. I said, wait, before you do anything, let me check with my people, do we have something? I found a property. I ring the developer. Hey, is it still available? Yes. Put it on hold. Don't go anywhere. I tell her, okay, can you go a little bit more? Yes. $482,000 is the price. Can you do it? Yes. She tried to do it through her lender. It failed. I connected her with a broker who was going to get her a guaranteed on the money valuation in this area. That meant she didn't have to pay any more out of pocket. It worked. Also, I had to get the contract signed and done over the weekend because Monday the prices were going to go up by $20,000. This was in the era of FOMO. Developers were putting up land prices by $10,000 every week, I kid you not. Builders had to increase their costs sometimes because of increasing cost of labour and materials. So, got her the broker, got her the conveyancer, got the deal done, all done. Now, $780,000 this property is worth. She's made 58% growth. What was her goal? To get the equity or potentially sell the property to buy a home in Sydney. She's earning $645 per week, 7% return, which is really high just for a 4-bedroom house. I'm really proud of her for trusting me. She put her trust in me, it worked. So you've got to act, don't sit on the fence. If you don't know what to do, you talk to an expert like I would talk to any of you about your respective industries. One more case study because bugger it. Is that okay or do you want me to stop? Do you want to hear the case study or do we stop? One more. Okay. So Itea, she wasn't even looking, but she saw that I was investing in something. She's a friend of mine and she saw what I was buying. And then one other one became available in Pimpama. I rang her and I said, you're going to love it. She went, drove and she said, yes. So, $558,000. I had to pull favours for this woman to be able to get this property. She wasn't yet a permanent resident, or was she? She had to get her citizenship, and we were waiting any minute now. And I made and worked with the builder, and they said, okay, we're hanging in there. We hung in there so she could get the grants to qualify for this property. It was only going to provide a return of 5.1% only. Where can you get that now? Let me show you what this property has done. It's now worth $890 grand. She's earning $820 a week in rent from this. She's made about, 60% almost growth in 3 years, right? In 3 years. The average rate of growth is 7% per year, just to give you bit of an idea here. She's made 60%. She's getting a yield of 8%. That is so high for a regular house and land. What did she do? She joined forces with her new husband. They've taken the equity out of that. They bought another property. I steered her towards the other side of the country. She invested in WA. And amazingly, I knew it would go up, but even it was beyond my expectations. 30% growth in 1.5 years. She is so happy. She's refinancing her loan because of the phenomenal outcome with that valuation. And she's earning, this property is actually earning $650 a week, a yield of 6%. So that's how I help my clients kick goals. Property is a tool. You don't need to be attached to it. You don't need to even like it. You just need to make it work for you to achieve your financial goals. That's what I'm here for. If you'd like any more information, just scan the QR code. Happy to help.